Welcome to the Think Forward podcast, where we speak with futurists, innovators, and big thinkers. Come along with your host, Steve Fisher, and explore the future together.
Welcome back to Foundations in Foresight, a Think Forward series. I'm Steve Fisher, and today we're continuing our journey into the Spectrum Foresight Method, the powerful approach to navigating uncertainty and shaping the future. In our last episode, we introduced this method as a structured way to anticipate change and take strategic action. Now, we're going deeper, breaking down the four-phase framework that makes it work. These phases, scoping, sensing, scenario design, and strategic action, help individuals and organizations explore, design, and act on multiple possible futures. Why a structured approach to the future matters? The future is messy, it's unpredictable, fast-moving, and interconnected. Trying to navigate it without a framework is like driving in the fog without a map. You might make progress, but you'll miss key signals, and you'll likely make some wrong turns. The Spectrum Foresight Method gives us a way to organize uncertainty, so instead of reacting to change, we can engage with it in a structured, proactive way. Before we dive deeper, let's revisit the four key phases of the Spectrum Foresight framework and how they work together. First is scoping, which is defining the future you want to explore. Before you start analyzing trends or designing scenarios, you need clarity on what you're exploring. This phase is all about framing the problem and setting boundaries so your foresight work is focused and actionable. Key questions in this phase. What's the domain of interest? Technology, industry shifts, societal trends? What's our time frame? Are we looking 5 years ahead? SIB? ASIB? What key uncertainties or forces might shape this space? Scoping ensures that you're looking at the right future landscape before jumping into analysis. Next up is sensing, where we track early indicators of change. Once you know what you're exploring, it's time to scan the horizon for signals of change. This is where we identify weak signals, emerging trends, and critical uncertainties. How do you do this? There are a few ways. Signal tracking, which is looking for early signs of new behaviors, technologies, or shifts. Then, trend mapping, connecting signals to identify larger patterns. And expert input, engaging with futurists, industry leaders, and data-driven insights. It helps us see what forces are already in motion, so we can anticipate where they might lead. Next up is world building and scenario design, exploring multiple future possibilities. This is where foresight moves from analysis to imagination. Instead of predicting one future, we design multiple plausible futures that help us stress test different paths. It involves identifying key uncertainties, developing divergent futures and storytelling and visualization, making each future feel real through narratives and artifacts. The goal isn't to predict exactly what will happen, it's to prepare for a range of possibilities. And finally, we have strategic action, turning foresight into decisions. The final step is making futures work practical. All the research, signals, and scenarios in the world are useless unless they drive real-world action. So, how do you move from insight to execution? It's through strategic planning, experimentation and prototyping, and resilience building. Designing adaptable strategies that can flex as the future unfolds. This is where foresight becomes a living process, continuously informing decisions. So why does this approach work? Well, each of these phases builds on the next, creating a repeatable cycle of discovery, design, and action. Organizations that adopt this method aren't just reacting to change, they're shaping the future. Let's put this into practice with a small challenge. First, pick a future challenge or opportunity that's relevant to you, whether personal, professional, or industry-wide. Then write down 3 key uncertainties that could shape how that future unfolds. And then sketch out 2 distinct scenarios, one where things go as expected, and one where an unexpected disruption changes everything. Thinking through multiple possibilities sharpens your ability to navigate complexity. That's all for this episode. Next time, we're going to zoom in on the first phase, scoping and sensing. We'll break down how to set up your foresight work for success, track signals effectively, and start spotting the trends that will shape tomorrow. Until then, stay curious, explore the edges, and as always, think forward.
Thanks for listening to the Think Forward podcast. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms and at www.thinkforwardshow.com, as well as on YouTube under Think Forward Show. See you next time.